All sorts of Congress wannabes have decided to prosecute him, boycott him, ban him, complain against him to the police for all sorts of trivial reasons. Some of them reek, viewers, of an emergency mindset. More on that in just a bit. First, a little bit about the Telangana police's interrogation of the beleaguered actor today. Allu Arjun appeared before the police at the appointed time this morning to record his statement in connection with the Sandhya Theatre Stampede case, in which a woman had died and her son was left seriously injured early December. Allu Arjun's lawyers, his father Allu Arjun and father-in-law Chandrasekhar Reddy were also present at the time of his appearance. Incidentally, viewers, just as Allu appeared for questioning, a 14-second CCTV clip that doesn't have audio was released by the police showing a crowd pushing and shoving as they funneled through a doorway. There you can see it, viewers. That's the footage. The metal gates on either side are literally torn from their hinges. The timestamp on the video is around 9:15 p.m. in the evening, which is 15 minutes before Allu Arjun arrived, unannounced, according to the police, at the theatre. News of the actor's arrival, the police have alleged, led to the stampede as adoring fans fell over each other to get a glimpse of the actor. While it isn't clear if the footage was released to whip up an anti-Allu sentiment, it has become the basis for the probe. The police duly asked several questions of Allu Arjun. Did he know that the police permission was denied for him to come to the premiere? Who took the call to proceed with the plan for the actor to attend the special screening despite the denial of police permission? Did any police officer inform him about the stampede outside? All these were questions that he was peppered with. He was asked, when did you hear about the death of the woman? What is the basis of the claim made by him, that is Allu Arjun, in his press conference? So all these things, viewers, he was expected to answer. But it isn't so much the probe, that is the uncalled for nature of seemingly coordinated attacks on Allu Arjun by Congress leaders on issues unrelated to the Stampede case, that suggest that the party and the Chief Minister has it out for Allu. One can understand, viewers, that the Stampede case requires Allu Arjun to be called, questioned. There has to be clarity. There has to be accountability. But viewers, this unrelated stuff that is happening now, as I'm suggesting to you, is beginning to raise eyebrows. The brazen intimidation reeks of heavy-handedness. The police summons for Allu for questioning fire barrage of questions before telling him he will be summoned again. That's not a problem. But Allu Arjun's private security detail Anthony is arrested for allegedly pushing fans. Also okay, not a problem. Let's give the Telangana police the benefit of doubt. But viewers, then you suddenly have, like Jack in boxes, Telangana Minister Sitaka, who begins to question the national award for Pushpa, cites bias against films with social messages, and says that he shouldn't have been given the award. Fair enough, it's an opinion. But it has only struck this man now. Senior Congress leader Theenmar Mallanna files a complaint against the actor over a scene in Pushpa 2 alleging it insults the Telangana police force. And he files the complaint with the police. We're expecting an FIR to be lodged very soon. And the FIR has also been lodged, or the complaint has also been filed against the makers of the movie. So the entire Allu Arjun group that made Pushpa 2 is now in the firing line. Their fat is in the fire. Bhupatti Reddy, Congress MLA, threatens to organize a boycott of all Allu's films if he speaks out against the Chief Minister. Now viewers, you think about it. Here is a party being led by an individual who swears by the Constitution. His name is Rahul Gandhi. He holds up that Constitution and he talks about fundamental rights, freedom of expression, free speech, and his acolytes, his MLAs, his ministers in governments run by the Congress want to deprive Allu Arjun of all those comforts that are guaranteed by the Constitution of India. How does this work, viewers? Listen to the Congress netas who have single-handedly created the impression that the government is tending towards overreach. Listen in, viewers.
Yesterday, I went to the movie and watched along with my team and other police officers. And in that movie, particularly the swimming pool scene is very objectionable. It is deliberately insulting the police or cops, some security officers who are working for the people. So I requested to the movie team also try to remove this scene from the movie.
మేము చెప్తా ఉన్నాం, అల్లు అరవింద్ జాగ్రత్త, నువ్వు ఓన్లీ వేషాలు పగటి వేషాలు వేసుకొని మరొక చెత్త సినిమా తీసినావు. అదే మన పుష్ప అంటే ఏంది, మన సామాజిక అంటే సమాజాన్ని బాగుపరిచిన సినిమా, అది ఒక స్మగ్లర్ సినిమా. అది ఎర్రచందనం అమ్ముకోవడానికి నువ్వు చేసిన దందలను చూపించినావు. నువ్వు మా ముఖ్యమంత్రి మాట్లాడితే ఖబర్దార్, నువ్వు ఆంధ్రోడివి, ఆంధ్రోడ్ లాగానే ఉండి ఇక్కడ బతకడానికి వచ్చినావు. నేను ఒక ఎమ్మెల్యేగా, రూలింగ్ పార్టీ ఎమ్మెల్యేగా మాట్లాడుతూ ఉన్నాను.
రూపం పోసుకునేటువంటి బిడ్డ యొక్క సినిమాను అద్భుతంగా మన ముందుకు తీసుకొచ్చింది. అవునా, మాకు ఈ హక్కులు ఉంటాయా అని ఎంతో మందికి ఈ సినిమా ప్రేరణగా నిలిచింది. కానీ అలాంటి సినిమాను ప్రోత్సహించలేదు. ఒక స్మగ్లర్ పాత్రలో ఒక స్మగ్లర్ పాత్రలో ఉండేటువంటి ఒక స్మగ్లింగ్ చేసేటువంటి హీరోలు పోలీస్ అధికారులను పోలీస్ స్టేషన్లలో బయట బట్టలు ఇప్పేసి నిలబెట్టి యథేచ్ఛగా స్మగ్లింగ్ చేసేటువంటి సినిమాలకు మాత్రం కేంద్రం నుంచి అవార్డులు వస్తున్నాయి.
So Congress, viewers, is judge, jury and censor all rolled into one now. And they all say that the Constitution matters to them. Allu's case won't be the first where the government in Telangana is being questioned for displaying an quote emergency mindset unquote, as its opponents seem to be suggesting, its critics seem to be suggesting. In 2024, tribal women and farmers landed in Delhi to complain to the NHRC. SC/ST Commission at the centre to flag forceful land acquisitions in the Chief Minister's constituency to set up a pharma sector, a pharma farm. In 2024, in Jangaon district, a tribal immolated himself to protest police high-handedness in a case over a domestic dispute. In 2024, in Nagar Kurnool, youth attempts suicide to protest alleged humiliation meted out to him by an SI. In 2024, Secunderabad police lathi charged a large number of devotees who gathered at the Muthailamma temple to protest against its desecration. All of these things, viewers, are not allowed anymore. The Chief Minister has lots to gain by painting Allu Arjun into a corner. Make no mistake, viewers. Revant Reddy hopes to position himself as fair and just Chief Minister, the upholder rule of law irrespective of status. Aligning with weaker victims of public tragedies could boost support among masses. But viewers, there are many public tragedies that are taking place, and I just named 3 or 4. Revant Reddy hasn't aligned himself with any of those tragedies. Crackdown can be played as the Chief Minister's swift response to public safety, improving his image, and the action provides much needed reprieve from opposition attacks on governance deficit. Viewers, what's going on here? Is the Congress really playing by the book? Or is it exhibiting an intolerance that it claims is not part of its DNA? Fundamental question. Let's open this up, viewers. Let's open this up. And I want to go straight across to Syed Abbas and also Kamru Chaudhary. The BJP spokesperson from Telangana is also there with us. BRS spokesperson is also there with us. So we have a fairly well represented panel. Ishkaran Bhandari. Now first let me go across to Ishkaran Bhandari, somebody who's a lawyer on this panel. Ishkaran Bhandari, I want to ask you a very simple and straightforward question. We are dealing with an individual at the apex of the Congress who in Parliament swears by constitutional values. Now I am not for even a moment trying to suggest that Mr. Allu should be insulated from the law. If he has a case to answer, let him answer. But we are seeing today summary calls for police complaints to be filed against the film star for a movie in which he acts, for lines that he hasn't written, for scenes that he hasn't conceived. Why? because they don't like the way certain things have been represented. Now, to my mind, this offsets freedom of expression. Number one, hardly something that the Congress should be intolerant towards, given its own avowed belief in the Constitution. Then the policeman goes with the Neta to watch this movie. They're almost looking for an excuse to frame Allu, frame the director, frame everybody. I don't know of anyone who goes with the police to watch a film. Okay, fair enough. Then you have somebody who says you speak ill of our chief minister and we'll boycott your movie. So criticizing the chief minister is also problematic. And these people say sedition should be smashed from the Constitution and from any law book. Look at the contradictions here. No awards must be given because we don't quite like his output. Who is he? They say. What kind of movies does he make? They say. They are representatives of the people. The people don't have a problem with this movie. They're going and watching this movie. From all that I'm hearing, there are no real protests against the movie. No one's calling for censorship of this film. Ishkan Bhandari, what do you make of this?
Rahul, when you said that they are seeming to find offenses, it reminds me, I've forgotten the name of the communist who said, show me the person, I'll show you the offense. It seems to be going on that direction. Carrying the Constitution doesn't establish your relationship with it. Complying with it does. This appears to be a case of breach of the Constitution. That is why the High Court gave an extraordinary interim relief. That sort of relief is not the usual thing. The action has to be egregious for a constitutional court to step in and give a relief. But let's come to the first principles. With the problem with the freedom of speech, starting from the First Amendment, we will not go into that. Majroo Sultanpuri was jailed. What was the poem? Commonwealth Ka Das. Not something very serious, but because you don't like it, you jail it. Or the excesses during emergency on Bollywood, where people were not given platform and we were in an era of very limited platforms. Or what is happening here? It is okay. Nobody is giving Allu Arjun a clean sheet. If he has committed some offense or there is some negligence, the law must take its course. But it cannot be that people in power or elected officials from the ruling party issue statements which are not legal or which seem to threaten a person. Or you go into the next level where there is an attack on the house. There is a law and order situation. Should people be able to reach the house and attack the house? Whose onus and whose duty is to prevent that? And if you are not preventing it, what's the reason for not to prevent it? The third aspect is what a person says or acts in a television. It says his freedom of speech, freedom of profession, freedom of trade, to promote it as his right. And any breach of that has to be dealt with court. But what we are saying is not that. What we are saying is entire life is being attacked. Why did you get a national award? What was the reasons for getting it? What are you speaking? What is your next movie? What is the offense? That's why I started by saying, show me the person, I will show you the offense. That seems to be the scheme here.
Well, one communist leader also talked about useful idiots. If you remember, Ishkan Bhandari. Maybe there are some around to build a case against Allu Arjun. Maybe there is a larger game plan here, but I'm not getting into that, viewers, for now. Let's just talk about hypocrisy, duplicity. Let's talk about grandstanding. Let's talk about everything that the Congress accuses the BJP of, especially those who are chief ministers and prime ministers in the Bharatiya Janata Party, of being heavy-handed, of being against common civilities, against freedom of expression, a sort of authoritarianism, a suffocating, intimidatory application of governance institutions. All of this is said, viewers, very blithely by the Congress against the BJP. But if you really weigh them up against it, they are the ones who look as if they are complicit in doing exactly what they accuse their opponent of. So, Mr. Kamru Chaudhary, I want to ask you, there seems to be a pattern here. Why do tribal women and farmers have to take transport at great cost to themselves, come to Delhi to move the NHRC, to seek relief from the SC/ST Commission, to flag forceful land acquisition in the Chief Minister's constituency? And if these subjects are going to be doing this, it tells you a little bit about how constricting the nature of governance there is in Telangana today. under Revanth Reddy. His own constituents are fleeing the state.
Now, what has that got to do with today's debate, please? Can you explain it?
Let me explain it to you. Maybe you didn't understand my point.
Yes.
I'm talking about an ecosystem there which seems to be repressive. An MLA says, we will ban your movie if you don't kowtow to the Chief Minister. He's saying it very brazenly,
I got
sir.
your point.
No, hang on. Is this not
Ah.
the sign of a dictatorship?
Well, I got your point. Where you are moving the actual design with which you have started your debate, and the angle which it is proceeding out here. Let me just explain a few things out here. You see, if it was vindictiveness against Mr. Allu Arjun out here by the Congress government or Mr. Revanth Reddy, then already the Telangana Electricity Board would have landed at Allu Arjun's house. 1.9 crore bill would have been slammed on him. His steps to his house would have been bulldozed so far right now. Unlike his movies being banned, like Narottam Mishra, the Home Minister of Madhya Pradesh, who banned the movie just because there was one song Besharam Rang out here, then nobody talks about that. But today, 30 people have lost their life in Jaipur because of the negligent driving of an oil tanker. 15 people have lost their life in Mumbai because an Indian Navy rammed into a ferry out there. There is not a single question of accountability out here. When Telangana government is trying to fix the accountability and responsibility on who is actually responsible for the death of that one lady out there, why can't you understand? If we had any vindictiveness against Allu Arjun, he would not have been made an accused number 11. He would have been made an accused number 1 out here. Let the investigation proceed out here.
Okay.
I can assure you and your viewers that the law is taking its own course. There is not a single iota of vindictiveness from the Congress government out here.
Okay.
If he is clean, he will come out clean.
Mr.
But
Chaudhary,
law is for the man, not man for the law.
Okay.
It's a simple principle of law.
Fair enough. Mr. Chaudhary, look, you said, had there been vengefulness, 1.9 crore bill would have been slapped, electricity bill would have been slapped, the house bulldozed, some extraordinary measures would have been taken. This is what you said, right? So let me ask you, sir.
Happening.
His home, Allu Arjun's home, was pelted with stones by whom? By a mob being led by a Congress.
No. Wait,
Let me finish. Let me just finish. Let me finish. Sir, give me 30 seconds. You can come back with. I'm not going to take your time, sir. Just give me. Let me put down some points. You can rebut them. Make a note of them. Rebut them all. I am not going to stop you. If this was the case, as you say, 1.9 crore bill would have been slapped, the house would have been bulldozed. In fact, worse has happened. Let me tell you, sir, his house is pelted with stones, and I can show you those pictures. The person who was leading that entire brigade of vandals who took the law into their own hands, sir, was a Congress leader, and there he is standing right next to Revanth Reddy. Yes, he's a floor crosser, but he was certainly with Revanth Reddy now. He is the district president of the constituency that Revanth Reddy comes from. Number one, Allu Arjun was wrongfully arrested, so much so that an extraordinary relief was granted to him by the High Court with a censure, a rap on the knuckles, sir, for the government not following procedure. 3, he was picked up 9 days after this incident. There wasn't any relation between the provocation and the timing of the action. It looked arbitrary. And you say, sir, yes, justice must be done. I'm not against it, but it also must seem to be done. My problem in Telangana right now is that justice is not seen to be done. You have individuals who are suddenly clawing at Allu Arjun. Am I mistaken, sir?
No, that's your perception out here. It's never the case like that. Unlike you see, there was one incident in North India where people pelted stones at Asaduddin Owaisi's house in New Delhi. But the same guy was found to be active member of the Bharatiya Janata Party. So should
two wrongs don't make a right, sir. Let me be very clear. If that was wrong, this is wrong.
these people, 6 of them have been arrested.
Would you not
They have
agree,
been
sir,
let out
that
on
justice
bail.
must also seem to be done?
But
Is
do
that
you want to
not a
suggest-
shibboleth that
No,
we are
no,
aware of?
The tone of your debate tonight.
No, there is no
Rahul,
tone,
that-
sir.
do you want to suggest
These questions
that the
have been
stone
prompted
pelting
by
was sanctioned
actions.
by the Congress
No,
party?
one second, Mr. Chaudhary, please.
I believe you are wrong in that.
Okay, fine. That's your opinion.
No,
But I
Congress
am
party
basing
will
my
not subscribe
no, one
to
second.
such
I am
violence.
basing my extrapolations on hard facts. These things have happened. There are members of Mr. Revanth Reddy's cabinet who have come out and said ghastly things. There are others who are trying to frame him in a case where his liberty to express himself is going to be constricted, which is guaranteed to him by the Constitution of India, which is what Rahul Gandhi holds up day in, day out. Isn't that a contradiction? That was the larger question. Mr. Abbas, where do you come in on this? And let me bring in Rachna Reddy as also the spokesperson of the BRS.
Rahul Sahab.
Yes, sir.
Rahul Sahab, over the last 3 days, I've been a part of over 20 debates on the same front.
Congratulations
Kindly allow me
to you.
2 minutes. Thank you, sir. Thank you very much. Appreciate it. Kindly allow me 2 minutes.
You are
to
more
make
in
my
demand
points.
than Allu Arjun.
Thank you, sir. Well, God willingly. Now, coming straight to the point, beat Allu Arjun, beat Amitabh Bachchan, or even Amir Khan. No one, no star, no celebrity, including the Chief Minister or the Prime Minister, are above the law and order. The fact of the matter, had it been the same Revanth Reddy who'd used the situation with kid glove and would have been kind to Mr. Allu Arjun, the same BRS BJP leaders would say that, oh, the Congress culture, the Shahzada culture favors the VVIP culture. Now, coming to the point that my good friend Ishkaran Bhandari spoke about. Well, yes, sir, you've spoken about what Malana said, the leader of Congress, what the other leader said, Bhupati Reddy. But why, sir, why do you miss out on a BJP MP of Telangana, Raghudandan Rao, who called the death of a lady a small case? He said a small issue. There is a ANI interview on this front where he said the death of a 35-year-old is a small case. But we do not speak of that. Now let's come to the quickly merits of the case. Was there a deniability from the circle inspector? Circle inspector.
1 second,
Ravina-
you can rebut. Wait, let him finish.
30 seconds.
Yes.
30 seconds.
He
Thank
took
you.
my
Thank you,
name,
Rahul
sir.
Saab. Appreciate the time. Now coming to the technical front. Today, in a categorical statement made by the Telangana Police Circle Inspector, Mr. Ravi Nair has stated that I denied the permission for the arrival of Mr. Allu Arjun to the theatre. It was clearly denied. What did the organizers do? In a spectacle of this event of this magnitude, they're supposed to meet the ACP, DCP of Circle Inspector. They did not do that. All they did was they took a letter at the inward section and took an acknowledgement of the same. Second point, there are 2 timestamps which have been
One
released
second,
by the video footage
Mr.
of the-
Abbas, we are not going over.
Rahul.
1 second, just very quickly. We are not going over this case. This is not the point of the debate. Maybe you are still got a hangover. You've read a script from another channel and you've come here. My point is very
sir, come
simple,
on,
Mr.
Rahul.
Abbas. Listen to me.
I don't
The
get
debate
scripts
is not
like you
about
do.
that tonight. I am not stopping the police from calling Mr. Allu Arjun 10 times to the police station to question him. By all means, investigate him. No one is stopping that. My question is that there is a lot of other stuff that is going on which now seems to suggest that there's a witch hunt in progress.
No, there
this
is
no.
absolutely-
Hang on.
no,
you
sir.
said that there is some BJP leader who's come out and said it was a small incident, this, that, the other. That's a absolutely, viewers, if he has said that, an objectionable statement. There should be no doubt about that, no ambiguity. But the fact is, viewers, by that same token, what these other Congress leaders are saying today, which impinge on the liberties, constitutionally guaranteed liberties of Allu Arjun, should that be allowed? Can 2 wrongs make for a right? No. And Mr.
Absolutely.
Abbas is not
Absolutely
answering
not,
this
sir.
question.
I will
Neither
answer
this
that.
Kamru Chaudhary.
I will answer that. I will answer that.
Rahul,
Tell me very
I'm
quickly.
glad.
I want to bring in
Yes.
Rachna Reddy after this. Yes.
30 seconds I
Yeah.
will answer that. Absolutely,
My
sir.
name is
But I had to.
No,
I had
Do
to
you
bring it
stand
out
up for
in-
his rights to make a movie?
Yes.
As long as the censor board of India clears it, no one should have a problem with it. Yes or no? Or should we censor everything
Yes.
that we don't like because it is politically expedient? Yes or no?
Rahul Saab, undoubtedly, and I'm glad that you called out Raghudandan Rao, who in an interview with the ANI today, who said it's a
Bhai,
small case,
Mr.
and I'm
Abbas,
glad.
answer the question. Don't
I'm
deviate.
answering the question.
I put you on the spot. Now tell me,
Yes, please.
do you believe that Allu Arjun's freedom should be walked over in the manner that they are being? Yes or no?
Rahul Saab, it's not Allu Arjun, it's Allu Arjun.
It doesn't, I don't
and
care.
I believe,
I'm asking you the question.
We need to. He's not potato Arjun.
I'm
he's
asking
Allu
you this
Arjun.
question, sir.
I'll answer you the question, sir.
So
The fact
do.
of the matter, Allu Arjun is no doubt a star, a celebrity.
Arey bhai,
but
answer
like
the
you and
question.
I,
Should
he's
his freedoms be curtailed? Should
he's a citizen of this
should
country.
his freedoms be curtailed? Should he be dragged now to the police for another
Why not?
entirely unrelated matter? Yes or no?
Why not, sir?
Why
There
not,
is a
sir?
death of a
Okay,
woman.
viewers. No,
And
this is
somebody
not
is
about the death of the
responsible.
viewer. This is
There
not
is a
about the
death
death of
woman,
the.
sir.
This
You
is
don't
not
speak
about the
of
death
that.
of a woman in a stampede. I'm
8-year-old
talking
boy
about.
who's battling
Okay,
for his
Mr.
life.
Abbas, look, you
There
are
is an
deliberately
8-year-old
obfuscating.
boy
No, I don't
who's
want to get
battling
into
his
a.
life,
I
but
don't want to get
we'll
into and
make it
waste
all
my
about
time.
Allu Arjun.
Let me bring in the BJP national
We have to
spokesperson.
always
Let me
make it
bring in
about Allu
Mr. Dasoju of the BRS and also Kamru Chaudhary and Ishkaran Bhandari. Yes. Now, look, viewers, this is the central issue here. Go ahead, prosecute, probe, go ahead, book Allu Arjun if you believe he's guilty of causing this stampede. But people are not answering the central question here. What about the other support caste of Revanth Reddy? What are they trying to do? And how does that reflect on the larger commitment that the Congress makes to constitutionalism? Fundamentally, this is about that, viewers. And if the perception is that they are now no longer behaving in a constitutional manner, what is the guarantee that this probe will also not be shaped by a particular narrative, viewers, by a prejudice? This is the worry. This is the worry. When extra constitutionalism becomes the norm, this is what happens, viewers. Everyone's right to justice is curtailed, undermined. This is the worry. Impunity sets in. And I want to bring the BJP national spokesperson in. The BJP, why do you believe, ma'am, that there is an emergency mindset? Explain to us. Give me three critical reasons.
Here, what is happening, Rahul, is I'm a lawyer as well. So here, what is happening is the December 4th incident of culpable homicide not amounting to murder or grievous hurt leading to the death. You can, as you've just stated, bring in Allu Arjun for investigation as many times as required, file a charge sheet, let the law take its course. But what gives Revanth Reddy? And in fact, at the beginning of your show, you have stated a few incidents. Let me add a couple more. In 2024, recently, an ST girl at a Gurukul suffered food poisoning and she died. There's absolutely no investigation, no FIR. What is going on about it, we don't know. Then, very shockingly, in Kodangal, Revanth Reddy's constituency, a woman commits suicide with a suicide note stating that Revanth Reddy and his brothers are responsible for her traumas and troubles and she's committed suicide. We are not blaming the chief minister right off the bat or on the face of it that he's responsible. But at least tell us what is the investigation. Why have these charges come about? What is the suicide about? At least come out.
So you're saying there is selective, no, he's selectively excessive, okay?
He's absolutely selectively exercising it.
Okay,
And
Dasoju,
now-
Mr.
and-
Dasoju.
Rahul, please ask her.
One second,
Rahul,
I'll come to you all
And-
one by one, please. Mr. Dasoju has waited very patiently and I salute his patience. Thank you, sir, very much. In today's day and age, no one likes to wait their turn. So thank you very much for being orderly on the debate, Mr. Dasoju. I want to ask you, today you're in the opposition. Many people are saying that you're playing a role which is akin to hunting with the hounds, but also running with the hare. Had the opposite been true, had this individual, Allu Arjun, not been booked, you would have said exactly the opposite. You would have said, see, there is a nexus between the rich and the famous and the chief minister in this state. That was also something that would have been said. So explain to me, Mr. Dasoju, why is it that you today have a problem with the fact that a popular movie star is being hauled over the coals? What's the issue?
Rahul, first of all, I would like to thank you for throwing light on this very, very controversial subject where constitution is scuttled, legal rights of individuals are scuttled. So I really thank you that you're discussing at the national level, number one. Number two is, it is not about politics. It's about the legality of this case. It's about the manipulation that's being done by the government. And unfortunately, police also are acting like puppets in the hands of the government. Third is, you rightly picked up the right nerve that Mr. Revanth Reddy, unfortunately, though he has come to power in the name of Praja Palana, that means the people's governance, but unfortunately turned out to be a draconian dictator in Telangana, where in his own constituency, where he indulges in brazen, forcible land acquisition, imprisons 40 to 50 tribals for about 40-50 days in the jails, and he does not want that to be discussed in the assembly. There are about 400 farmers died in Telangana in the last 12 months. He does not want to have a discussion on that. There are about 50 students, tribal students, Dalit students died in the various schools. He does not want to have a discussion on that. There are about half a dozen, 2 dozens of incidents of food poison happened in the government-run residential schools. He doesn't want to have a discussion. There are about 90 poor auto drivers died because of the lopsided policies of this government. He doesn't want to have the discussion in the floor of the assembly. He just wants to use Allu Arjun's incident to deflect the people's attention, to divert from his failures or to cover up his failures. That's unfortunately Arjun has become a scapegoat. Is what I could say. The other thing is, it is a failure of the government that they could not provide appropriate security measures at a theatre to screen a show. What kind of a security that he will provide to?
That's a big charge. Mr. Dasoju making a very big charge, viewers. He's saying that all of this is being done to turn Allu Arjun into the villain when the glare should equally fall upon the police that was remiss in its own responsibilities. Now, Mr. Abbas.
Yes.
Convenient diversion. Keep piling on the pressure on one side. Amplify the charges against Allu Arjun to cover up for your own deficiencies. It takes it's 8 kilometers away, Allu Arjun's residence, or maybe even more from this film hall. It would have taken at least 40 minutes to get there in a busy Hyderabad metropolitan, and therefore you would have had plenty of time to react. You knew the actor was coming. A letter was written 3 days before this event from the theatre owners saying that Allu Arjun will be there. There is only a verbal communication on a handwritten note to Allu Arjun saying that, look, we've denied permission. We don't know if any of this is true. It could be post facto. It might have taken 9 days to create a case to save the police.
Rahul, I have official statement of the Hyderabad police, and let me quote the same. Firstly, the circle inspector of the area, Ravi Nayarji, categorically denied permission to Mr. Allu Arjun to arrive at the theatre.
What's the proof?
What's the
proof? What's the proof? Mr. Dasoju wants to come in.
There is a letter of denial.
Yes. He's showing us something. 1 second. Let's listen in. What is he showing us? Mr. Dasoju, go ahead. Yes, what is this?
Rahul, this is the letter submitted by the Sandhya Theatre on 2nd of December to the police, Assistant Commissioner of Police, seeking bandobast. This is submitted to the police station. Now you look at this letter. I want the country, the nation to see the signature signed by a manager, official manager, signed by the manager on a letterhead, submitted to the Assistant Commissioner of Police. Now look at this letter. Look at this letter from the circle inspector who writes with his pen. It's a handwritten letter, and the recipient signature is this. The letter submitted for bandobast, signed by somebody. Recipient signature is this. We don't know who this gentleman is. Another very glaring fact that the country has to know. Please allow me, Rahul.
Oh my gosh.
I'm referring to the judgment given by interim relief given by the High Court.
Now, can I?
1 second, let him finish. Big disclosures tonight. Yes, Mr. Dasoju.
The interim relief given by the High Court. The judge has very categorically asked during the course of proceedings that have you denied the permission? Have you denied the permission to screen the show or to not to allow Allu Arjun? They said orally, but they have not submitted any letter which has not been recorded. Had the police given this letter before the screening of the show, on 11th, when the court was conducting the proceedings, the police would have, or the prosecution would have submitted that letter to the court, which probably would have been recorded by the judge. The very fact that the judge has not recorded that the police has denied permission to Arjun to come to the theatre, then this matter would have not been happened at all.
I see. Well, 1 second. So viewers just understand. Here's the chronology. Second, the film owner, the theatre owners write to the police. You saw the documentation duly stamped saying that, look, we need you to make this big bandobast. Our star and his crew are all going to be there for the premiere of this movie. The show, the curtain raiser, and when is that going to be? On the 4th. So 72 hours before, 2nd to the 4th, 48 hours before, this letter goes out. 2nd, 3rd, 4th. Viewers, no response. According to the police themselves, to the court. The court heard the matter on the 11th because the arrest took place 9 days after the event. Viewers, now viewers, think about it.
Where is this letter?
The Telangana police was willing to get a tongue lashing from the High Court, which it did duly. Ishkaran Bhandari, bear me out on this, but was not willing to submit a written rejection of permission. Don't you find that bizarre?
Rahul, man may lie, documents do not lie. If one side submits an application duly signed that we gave this application to any government authority and it was rejected, the government authority will tell its lawyers, because that would put the person they have arrested in some difficulty, that we rejected permission to you by writing, you still did this, you would have a higher mountain to climb to get bail. But if there is no written denial, it's a documentary evidence. Then of course the High Court took the order and gave interim bail. So I think it's self-explanatory.
There's something very, very wrong in the state of Denmark, so to speak, viewers, to quote Hamlet. Something very wrong. Something awfully wrong. And I don't see how the Congress that constantly talks about constitutionalism is acquitting itself in consonance with the articles of the Constitution in Telangana. Think about this, viewers. Think about it very carefully. Think about this very carefully. A person's life and liberty are also at risk. And remember one thing, viewers, this channel will not condone any stampede at the behest of Allu Arjun. If it is true, he needs to be made accountable in whichever way. And I don't think anyone on this panel will disagree with me. But the point is, viewers, you can't have an orchestrated campaign based on infirmities to protect
That's your
people.
Opinion, Rahul.
No, I'm only saying, yes, it's my opinion. It is true. It is true. No, please, 1 second. This is a fact, viewers. You cannot have an extra constitutional, you can't have an extra constitutional witch hunt going on for a film star to prove something that perhaps doesn't exist. I don't know. But the fact is, viewers, we'll have to watch and wait. We'll have to watch and wait. And I agree with Mr. Kamru Chaudhary. It is an opinion, but it's not an opinion, viewers, based on nothing. There are certain facts that are staring back at us. And I'm only being lawyerly here, viewers. I want to move on because there is a very important story that we need to discuss. As the Catholic Bishops' Conference of India, which represents about half the churches in the country, hosted Prime Minister Narendra Modi in an unprecedented historic outreach at its headquarters in Delhi on Monday, that was yesterday. A section of the left-leaning ecosystem has raised red flags. Almost 200 individuals have shot off a petition calling upon the church forum, shaming it for having invited the Prime Minister to address concerns regarding alleged attacks on Christians and churches. Others have said that the invitation has legitimized hate and divisive politics. Here is what the letter says in sum and substance. The plight of persecuted Christians ignored, significant surge in violence against Christians that has been ignored and it is being normalized, inaction in the protecting rights of Christians by calling the Prime Minister, you're normalizing this, Hindutva nationalism behind the violence which is being ignored by extending an invite to the Prime Minister, allowing him perhaps in some ways to redeem himself. Christians in India attacked for their faith. Viewers, certain numbers have been cited by these petitioners, 200 of them who have signed, but no source has been given. So when we ran a background check, viewers, we couldn't find these figures. So where they have come from, we don't know, but the letter is out there, viewers. And within the Christian community, it is creating ripples and perhaps even fear. No sooner had the petition been written, the opposition got in on the act, accusing Modi of lying about Sabka Saath, because that's what the Prime Minister invoked when he went to this function, where he also bowed before baby Jesus. There you can see him. That's the nativity scene on the left. And on the right, he's being felicitated by the who's who of the Christian order there, the clergy. MA Baby of the CPM, he says we cannot ignore the double standards at play. Prime Minister Modi is at the helm of a Hindutva communal project and remains silent on the 745 attacks on Christian minorities in India in 2024 alone. Now, MA Baby viewers, whose own party leaders attack Rahul Gandhi of seeking support of extremists, Islamist extremists, to make his way to parliament is silent. When, for instance, Rahul Gandhi visits minority communities and spends time with them. Or even when he wears his janiyo and goes to a Hindu temple. At that time, MA Baby doesn't say, oh, look at the double standards at play. But fundamentally, viewers, do these quote activists unquote have the moral authority to stand in judgment of the Prime Minister? Here's what a random background check on some of the letter writers revealed. And I didn't go through this list, the 200 names, viewers. I just picked out randomly a few names. Professor Ali Nadeem Rezavi, AMU faculty member, has signed this letter. But you know what the irony is, viewers? A few years ago, he had refused to back those seeking the removal of sectarian Muslim League leader and the architect of two-nation theory and the partition of India, Muhammad Ali Jinnah's portrait from the university's Student Union Hall. So this man, who is today giving us lectures on secularism, has no qualms about Jinnah's portrait hanging in JNU. The man who divided this subcontinent on religious lines, viewers. Partition was not about two nations. It was about two religions not being able to get along. And specifically, viewers, the Islamists who believed they couldn't live alongside Hindus. This man is today holding up the mirror. Can you believe it, viewers? Shabnam Hashmi and John Dayal. They were included by the Congress to be part of the drafting committee of the controversial Communal Violence Bill, the CVB, that had to be amended because it assumed that only members of a minority can be targeted during a riot and the majority community will never be victims. Had that bill gone through, viewers, in every communal incident, the Hindu would have been the one going to jail. Then there is, viewers, another signatory called Amrit Wilson, a Marxist feminist based in England who collaborates with Saeed Reza Ameli, the secretary of Iran's Supreme Council of Cultural Revolution, who helped to launch a crackdown against Iranian women who opposed the compulsory wearing of the hijab. The crackdown led to dozens of deaths, illegal arrests and torture, and you know those heartbreaking scenes. And this person backs that, viewers, in the name of religion, laws in the name of religion. And they are giving sermons today about secularism. Vinod Pandey, in 2005, made a film called Sins. It depicted a priest having an affair with a girl half his age. The film was criticized not by me, viewers, by the Mumbai church and labeled, quote, pornographic and sensational, unquote. This individual, viewers, who had a problem with Modi, was called out for his biases by the church itself. Father Cedric Prakash, Catholic priest, hailed the Gujarat High Court ruling that declared that the dastardly Godhra train burning was not an, quote, act of terror, unquote, watering down the charges against the accused. Viewers, instead of saying, actually, let's see if this matter needs to be reviewed, he was cheering the courts on for letting off people who clearly carried out a communal attack. And he's lecturing on secularism. If the petitioners lack the moral standing to question the Prime Minister because of their own patchy commitment to human rights and secularism, then the bare facts also suggest that the Prime Minister has walked Sabka Saath talk. The BJP has embraced Christians, beginning from Jan Sangh founder Shyama Prasad Mukherjee to the Vajpayee NDA and now the Modi NDA. 14 June, for example, 2024, the Prime Minister invited the Pope to India. Why would he be doing so, viewers? 25th December 2023, Modi hosts a lunch for Christians at his residence, which was on Christmas Day. 5th April 2023, Prime Minister Modi met head of the Malankara Orthodox Syrian Church in Delhi. BJP gave tickets to at least 75 Christian candidates across 80 seats in Meghalaya and Nagaland in February 2023, viewers. 18th October 2020, the Prime Minister marked the anniversary of Reverend Dr. Joseph Marthoma, Metropolitan. Several Christians have been placed in prominent party positions in Kerala and Goa. Let's open this up, viewers, without much ado. Let's bring in Sanju Verma, let's bring in Kamru Chaudhary, let's bring in Ishkaran Bhandari, let's bring in Viret Srivastava, and also Anil Antony, the leader of the BJP, who's actually a Christian. But first, Sanju Verma, I want to begin with you. Why do you today believe that this is all propaganda? State your case.
Rahul, first and foremost, let me state this unconditionally and unequivocally that Prime Minister Narendra Modi is as secular as they come. He's somebody who wears his Hindutva on his sleeves unapologetically. He has no qualms calling for the 400th birth anniversary celebrations of Guru Tegh Bahadur from the ramparts of the Red Fort. He has no qualms visiting the Pope at the Vatican in 2021. This is the same Modi government which sent a high-level delegation led by the then External Affairs Minister Sushma Swaraj in 2016 when Mother Teresa was canonized as a saint. This is the same Prime Minister Modi who actually rescued Father Tom in 2017 from the clutches of the ISIS. This is the same Prime Minister Narendra Modi who visited Egypt in June 2023 and was awarded Order of the Nile because he renovated the Al Hakim Mosque, which was actually renovated by the Indian government and the Indian Bohra community. This is the same Prime Minister Narendra Modi who has no qualms, giving a chadar at the Ajmer Dargah as a matter of respect. So I don't think Prime Minister Narendra Modi's secular credentials can be questioned, point number one. Point number two, let's get this straight. That, Shabnam Hashmi, she is a repeat offender. If you recall, Shabnam Hashmi's brother, Safdar Hashmi, was murdered way back in 1989. Yes. And guess what? Shabnam Hashmi has the audacity to lecture Narendra Modi, but 14 years after her brother Safdar Hashmi was murdered in 2003, guess who was convicted for Safdar Hashmi's murder? Along with 14 people, it was a Congress leader called Mukesh Sharma. But you will never see Shabnam Hashmi training her guns at Congress leaders, despite the fact that the killer of her brother was actually a congressman. Now let's come to the moot point very quickly. I also did some homework before coming on your debates. There are more than 3 dozen organizations which have written a letter saying, can I please finish? There are more than 3 dozen organizations which have written a letter saying Christians are being persecuted by the Modi government. Very quickly, I found out that more than 97% of these organizations which have written this letter owe their allegiance to an organization. Rahul, who's this man who's going on?
I'll have to lower his fader. Mr. Chaudhary, don't make me do what the Congress is doing in Telangana, please.
Can I finish,
I'm lowering your fader.
Thank you.
Sorry, Vivek Srivastava. My gosh, there you go.
Can I please finish?
Vivek Srivastava, the insurgent. Please lower his fader.
Rahul?
Yes.
Thank you. Now, this is the most important point. I always say when you come on debates, especially on Rahul Shivshankar's, do your homework. Don't just come and blabber mindlessly. 97% plus of the organizations that have written this letter alleging persecution of Christians by Modi government, they owe their allegiance to an organization called USCIRF. USCIRF is funded by Open Society Foundation. Right. Who has been the chairperson of USCIRF for the longest time, Rahul? It's a lady called Anurima Bhargav. Who is Anurima Bhargav? She's the same lady who said that the Citizenship Amendment Act should have never come about. This is the same lady who calls Kashmir India occupied Kashmir. This is the same lady who in 2022 said
so this is motivated.
Human rights in India are a matter of concern.
Okay, motivated you're saying.
My last point is this. If you really care for the Christian community, Rahul, I would like to tell the Congress party, have the guts to support the CAA.
Okay.
Because CAA gives legitimacy to persecute Christians from Bangladesh, Afghanistan and Pakistan. Do you have the guts to support CAA?
Okay.
If you don't, then please
But I just have to say though, that the BJP took its sweet time in bringing about the CAA, notifying its rules. Took 5 years, which was also an egregious act of omission. But anyhow, that having been said, viewers, one second. That having been said, let me also bring in Anil Antony, who is in the BJP and he happens to be a Christian. Why do you think, Mr. Anthony, the 200 individuals criticize the Prime Minister when, as Sanju Verma says, everything is fine? That is all staged.
See, this is all politics. Last 10 years you had seen, and that there is a certain section in our opposition who have been constantly trying to create misinformation campaigns against the Bharatiya Janata Party and the Prime Minister. And they are trying to create a politics of division and misinformation and disharmony. In the last 10 years, while our Prime Minister and our government is working with the philosophy of Sabka Saath, Sabka Vikas, Sabka Prayas, the opposition here, they are clearly working on an agenda to create fear psychosis among certain members of our community, members in our country. But we all know that it is continuously being rejected. You look at the last 3 elections. In 2024 also, it is only the second time in India's history that our Prime Minister and a government is coming back for the 3rd time. Now, 20 states across India, it is governed by the Bharatiya Janata Party and NDA, where people are overwhelmingly telling that they want double engine governments. So, in the last 10 years, 11 years, continuously these kind of divisive, these kind of misinformation agendas have been rejected.
People have spoken.
And so there isn't anything new to tell to them.
So let me bring in Vivek Srivastava. And Vivek Srivastava, look, I'm going to keep it short and sweet with you.
Yes.
You belong to the left.
Why?
Are you still...
You did not keep it short and sweet with Sanju Verma?
No, I'm talking about my question, so I can give you some time to speak.
Okay.
You didn't understand what I was trying to say. But anyhow, Mr. Srivastava, I just want to ask you, you belong to the left, yes?
Yes.
Yes. You know that the left leadership
very clearly
in Kerala has come out and said that Rahul Gandhi and Priyanka Gandhi Vadra have been propelled into parliament on the back of Islamist extremists. Their support. How is it that these 200 signatories...
Rahul, purani kahani
No, 2 दिन पुरानी है. 2 दिन पुरानी है. No, 1 second. Then how come these people are not writing to Rahul Gandhi and Priyanka Gandhi Vadra questioning their secular credentials, and they only seem to get pricked by what the Prime Minister does? Why is there this? Hang on, selective outrage? Very quickly, tell me.
There is no selective outrage. Right. We fought the elections in Kerala. If something was wrong, we pointed it out. The story is over. India Alliance stands together. We are against the communal politics of the BJP, and the Honorable Prime Minister of India should not have given Mr. Pratap Sarangi, who was accused at one time of burning alive Australian missionary.
1 second, let him finish.
Staines, his wife, his children. Dara Singh was caught.
Yes.
And there was a long, everybody knows what Mr. Sarangi stood for. He may have been let off by the courts.
Yes.
And these are the kind of people who are being given the ticket. और आप कह रहे हैं कि Christians के बड़ा secular है हमारा Prime Minister. You are just doing cosmetic lip service so that you can tell the Western world, look, all is well over here and I am visiting the church on the Christmas. But इस देश में minorities को आप पीटते हैं और बांग्लादेश को question करते हैं.
ठीक है. Srivastava ji, that's your answer. Lump sum? Okay. Now listen to this, viewers. CPM Politburo member 2 days ago. I'm not saying this, quoted on December 22nd in the Sunday Express, that is the Indian Express's Sunday edition. And I want to bring in Ishkaran Bhandari. Communal Muslim Alliance behind Rahul Priyanka's Wayanad wins, says CPM Politburo member A. Vijay Raghavan. He adds, who were in the front and back rows of the procession of Priyanka Gandhi? The worst extremist elements among the minorities were in them. Without their support, was it possible for Rahul Gandhi to reach Delhi? Unquote. 1 second. Secondly, viewers, the left, which is giving lectures in Bengal, tied up with a sectarian organization called the ISF that was led by a cleric that spews hate against, guess whom, viewers? Hindus. And let me tell you, it was Kapil Sibal and Anand Sharma of the Congress party that said, this is not on. Guys, we shouldn't be tying up with individuals as checkered as these. These are the parties that are talking about today, viewers, secularism. Ishkan Bhandari.
Rahul, may I lead another headline?
Yeah.
Bishop warns Christians in Kerala against love and narcotics jihad. You read the glorious achievements of some of the so-called secularists who signed the letter. it appears they have a problem when Prime Minister goes to a mandir, they have a problem when Prime Minister goes to a gurdwara, they now have a problem when Prime Minister is celebrating Christmas or going to a Christmas event. So basic thing is, it appears either they have a problem with Prime Minister period, or they have a problem with all religious festivities except one which they consider to be secular.
Yes.
And that is the problem which is getting exposed all over the place, because they are not consistent with their stand. When at Hanuman they call themselves the secularists, on the other hand you gave two examples of how they ally with people who are anything but secular, in fact are radically inclined towards one direction, and on TV debates they come and defend it.
Let me ask you, Mr. Kamru Chaudhary, Mr. Kamru Chaudhary, what would you call a leader who walks with a hate-spewing personality like George Punaya? Would you call him a secular person, or would you call him, sir, a communalist?
Rahul, today's debate was
No,
about
it's very clear. No,
Christians
sir,
and the
you are
Prime
always
Minister.
finding a problem with the subject of the debate. The debate is very simple.
because the
I'm
simple
asking
thing,
you,
your Hindutva is
George
surviving
Punaya
or
walks with,
ultimately
now
has to
viewers,
come
listen to
this.
this, since he's not going to answer like he did in the last debate. The problem is, viewers, I
So
present the
judgmental.
hard facts and they cannot be disputed. So I'm asking viewers, once again, think about this. Had Narendra Modi, the Prime Minister of India, decided to embark on a kilometer after kilometer long Bharat Jodo Yatra in the company of Yati Nrsimhanand, what do you think would have happened in this country? Yati Nrsimhanand, who, viewers, is a vile hate monger, vile with a capital V. Had Modi walked with someone like that, these guys, till all the ink in this country ran out, would have written tomes and tomes of letters. And when the ink would have exhausted, they would have drawn blood and written, viewers, letters in blood. Rahul Gandhi can walk with hate spewers. His party can put into the electoral field hate spewers. They can tie up with hate mongers. But no letters land on their doorstep. I think Mr. Modi should build a door which doesn't have a slot to post a letter. That would perhaps be my advice. I leave it at this, viewers.
Presented by
मैं यहाँ से अपनी गाड़ी में गई इस्लामाबाद, वहाँ पे जो भेजने वाले था पेडलर जो था, मैंने उसको गाड़ी की चाबी हाथ में थमा दी, मैंने वहाँ पे उससे 50 ग्राम लिए और मैंने गाड़ी उसको वहाँ पे छोड़ दी। वहाँ से मैं हीरोइन लाती थी। इवन के मतलब कोई भी ऐसी चीज़ नहीं होगी, मतलब इतना ये इंसान को मजबूर करता है ना कि मतलब हेल्पलेस इंसान इतना हो जाता है।
मैं आपको पर्टिकुलरली तो नहीं बोल सकता हूँ किसी कारणवश, बट ये है कि हाँ, महिलाओं के जरिए जो गाँव आगे हैं, वहाँ से कहीं ना कहीं से महिलाओं के जरिए आता है पीछे। ड्रग्स पे जितना कंट्रोल हो सके, जितना नहीं पूरा कंप्लीटली कंट्रोल होना चाहिए।
Are women easy drug mules? Are agencies less suspecting of women peddling drugs? Mere coincidence or a conspiracy? The pattern is definitely concerning, one that our security agencies are not neglecting. CNN News 18 reported in early 2024 on Pakistan's role in pushing narcotics into Jammu and Kashmir, highlighting involvement of overground workers in recruiting for this trade.
चाहे वो बच्चे हैं, चाहे वो औरतें हैं, चाहे कैसे भी करते हैं, उनको पता है आपके कोई भी हमारा दाव पेच जो भी है, उन्होंने हम सब भी हथकंडे इस्तेमाल किए, लेकिन इंशाल्लाह वो फेल रहे। ये जो यूथ है तो इसको भी उकसाने का मसला है। कोई स्कूल से है, कोई कॉलेज से है, कोई कहीं से है, किसी को पता ही नहीं होता, सिर्फ पैसों के लालच है।